Alright, welcome back to our tutorial. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how we can capture user inputs in C language. But before that one, I would like to tell you that in programming, we can also perform mathematical operations. So let's say, for example, you have a variable here, integer a, and you have a data 5, right? And then you have another integer here, b, and you assign the data 10. So in programming, you can do mathematics as well. So since we know that the output of a and b is also still an integer, so we can just pass them and do mathematical operations for the two variables. So we can just use printf function to display their outputs, and we can just call each one of the variables and then use this arithmetic operator plus symbol, which indicates we are dealing with mathematics. We are going to add whatever numerical value being held by both variables. Alright, so let's just align our code to make it look good. Okay, and click build and run. There you have it. So obviously we got number 15 as the output for the two variables, right? And also I would like to show you, aside from the variables, aside from passing the numerical data of the variables, I mean the identifier of the variables having numerical data, you can also do mathematics with the actual printf function. Let's say, for example, you have number 10 and you have number 15 here, right? So click build and run, then you get your appropriate output, which is 25 for the number 10 and 15. Alright, so that's how we do it with mathematics. So in mathematics, I mean in programming, when we talk about mathematics, there are different symbols we can use for different operations, right? For addition, we use the plus symbol, and for subtraction, we use minus symbol or dash or hyphen, and for multiplication, we use the asterisk, and for the division, we use the forward slash. And by the way, in programming, there is what we call a modulo that will return the remainder of the two numbers. So let's put them as an example. Let's write an example for this one, for the operators. Alright, so for example, I have a variable a here, and the data held by this variable is number 5, right? And then variable b, okay, let's declare them in one single line. It has it holds the value which is number 2. So we can produce the output of these variables using different operators, I mean. So how to do it? Of course, we can just do printf, and somehow let's put here sum of two variables, right? So and then we can just call the two variables and let them perform their operation, a plus b. Alright, and we will just have to use their appropriate operator signs. Okay, so paste the needed printf functions. So the sum, this time difference, and here the product, here the quotient, and lastly we have the remainder, right? So let's just have, we just need to there you go, change the different operator symbols. And for remainder, we use a % sign for the modulo. Alright, and obviously since printf has no new line function, I mean the output that is being printed using printf, and if there is another display to be given or to be passed on to another printf next to the first printf, then obviously the outputs will concatenate with each other. So to fix this one, we need to add \n escape sequence, indicating that after the printf performs something, it's going to produce a new line right after the series of string data that we are trying to pass inside the printf function. Alright, so let's click build and run and see our appropriate for a while. Okay, so if you notice, right, we forgot to put our What do you think is the main problem? Alright, so obviously I know what you're thinking. We forgot to put our placeholders. So this is what usually happens if we forgot our placeholders. So close this one. So here you need to put your placeholders. So since we are dealing with integers, you just need to put %d here, and then %d here, another %d here, and another %d, and another %d. Alright, so let's click build and run. Alright, there you have it. So we got appropriate outputs coming from the different operators. Alright, so as for the remainder, if you notice, it returned 2, right? And it dropped the remainder point. So that means I would like to show you, since the data we are dealing with are integers, therefore obviously, and also the placeholder we use is also for integer, which is %d. If you notice, kindly look at line number 13. Alright, so therefore obviously we will get the whole number. So if you want to fix this one, yeah, we can also fix this one. So how to do it? Actually, you can do it this way if you wanted to. For a while, let me rewrite the code. So we can change this one to F, because we are going to typecast into float whatever data that is going to perform. I want these two data to transform into float, so I have to enclose them in another like this. So I have to enclose them with another parentheses indicating that I want these two variables to be converted into float. This is what we call a typecasting, by the way. Typecasting. Alright, so by this, let's see if we will get our intended output, right? So it dropped right, it dropped our remainder. I guess the best way here is to also one, and let's see. Alright, there you have it. So I also concatenated, typecasted or converted the other variable. So I just added a float next to the variable, and then another float keyword to the next variable, which is b. Variable a and variable a and variable b, I explicitly converted them to the so-called float data type, and then that's what we get. And as what you can see, if you wanted to, you can also modify the number of the the number of decimals you want to be displayed as output for your quotient. Alright, and also for your remainder, obviously if you are to divide number 5 with number 2, that means you will have a 1 as a value, the remaining value, right? So modulo performs remainder. It will return the remainder of the whole numbers you're dealing with. So %sign is what we call modulo, that one. Okay, so as what you can see, we've been dealing with data that are given already. Alright, so what if these data are unknown? So what if I want to operate two numerical data, but to be specific, I don't want the data to be only number 5 or only number 2. So in short, I can dynamically change the data. So in programming with C, we can do it by the use of the so-called Scanf function. Alright, so to do it, we can just modify a few of our codes. So let's say, for example, let's declare our variable A and also our variable B. And there's no need for us to initialize it with any data, because we want the data to be initialized with dynamic data coming from the users. So how to do it? Of course, first we need to notify the user by giving a prompt that the user has to give a number. So let's say, for example, we have printf here. So enter first number. Alright, and let's put a \n here, escape sequence, so that it will proceed to the next line. and then we will use the scanf function. Alright, for scanf function, it requires two parameters just like your printf, right? But it also requires the ampersand symbol for the variable. Okay, so since the data type of the variable we're going to capture is integer, therefore we are going to use the placeholder %d. And in order for us to call the variable, the identifier of the variable, then we need to add ampersand next to the variable. It's part of the syntax, by the way. Alright, so and we can also do the same for the remaining data type, variable. So enter second number. There you have it. And so since it is b, the identifier for the second variable that is integer, you can just use just rewrite the identifier of the second integer variable. Okay, I guess our code looks good. Now let's click build and run and see what we're going to get. Click build and run. Okay, if you can see, the program stops. So long we will not give any value, then it will not going to continue. Okay, this time let's give what the program is asking us. Let's say, for example, I want the number 10 as the first number, and then I want the second number to be number 3. Right, so click enter, and then there you have it. We get different outputs for the different operators just by entering two data coming from the user. Right, so let's try it again with another sets of data. Click build and run. Say for example, we have 7, and then we have 4. Right, so the total we have 10, difference 4, product 21, and then quotient 2.33, and the remainder is 1. Alright, I just hope you learned something out of this video. And by the way, for the next tutorial, see you in the next video, by the way. And feel free to like, follow, and subscribe. In order for you to be notified with our new uploads, kindly click the notification bell as well. Have a nice day and see you in the next video. Bye bye.